you know, either younger than us or, you know, passed and retired. So why not? You know, I want to challenge myself. The best always looking to fight the best and challenge themselves, you know, and why not, you know, challenge.
Terence Crawford can't beat him, right? This is a money grab for Terence Crawford. It's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy.
But if you study Floyd closely, like I have, you will notice that he never wastes any steps while he's...
During a live interview with Stephen A. Smith, Terence Crawford reportedly accepted Floyd Mayweather's fight offer, expressing his unwavering commitment to testing his limits and embracing challenges, no matter how big they are. Speaking with calm confidence, Crawford emphasized that boxing is about the best fighting the best, and he's ready to step up once again. For him, facing Mayweather represents another opportunity to...
Businessman, because this is Terence the businessman talking, right? They got to pay the cheddar to make it better, right?
For sure, for sure. All money ain't good money, so you got to know that.
Okay, fair enough. I hate to use the word easy, but at times it did feel like you were, you know, having a really easy time out there. Were you expecting it to play out that way?
Listen, it's never easy, you know.
Stephen A. Smith has always been outspoken in his sports coverage, and boxing is no exception. When he praises Terence Crawford for becoming a champion in 4 different weight divisions, it's more than just a casual compliment, it's a recognition of a rare and remarkable achievement in modern boxing. In an era where many fighters are hesitant to move across weight classes due to the risks involved, Crawford's ability to dominate in 4 separate divisions sets him apart. Stephen A. emphasizes that this level of versatility and success solidifies Crawford's place as one of the all-time great pound-for-pound fighters. It reflects not only his physical adaptability, but also his technical skill, mental toughness, and relentless drive to take on increasingly difficult challenges.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept his different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford's.
Roy Jones Jr., a boxing legend who understands what it takes to succeed across multiple weight divisions, has spoken highly of Terence Crawford's brilliance in the ring. Reflecting on Crawford's fight with Canelo Alvarez, Jones highlighted how Crawford skillfully borrowed elements from the arsenals of Floyd Mayweather and Erislandy Lara, 2 fighters who had previously given Canelo trouble. What sets Crawford apart, according to Jones, is his ability to observe, study, and effectively apply those strategies in his own way. He didn't merely imitate, he adapted the techniques to fit his own rhythm, making them even more effective in real-time situations. This level of adaptability, Jones notes, distinguishes Crawford from many other fighters who rely on a single style.
As Canelo Alvarez has been a great fighter his whole career, people like Erislandy Lara gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. People like Floyd Mayweather also gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. But Bud is more fierce, more fearsome, and more angrier and more meaner than both of those guys. So you know if they showed you the blueprint, Bud gonna go out there, take that blueprint, and do even more with it, which is what Bud did. So it was never a question in my mind whether Bud really was going to outbox me, just if he could take the punch. And right away he showed, bam, he could take the punch. So I knew from that point, if he just slow him down, which he did, he'd be okay. Then late in the fight, what other people still didn't see, late in the fight, Bud started hitting Canelo's body. One of those body shots, I think about the 7th or 8th round, hurt Canelo. I was like, whoa. Bud hit him in the right spot then, and he got Canelo's respect with that too. So Bud fought a very, very awesome fight, fought a beautiful fight, very tactical.
Very controlled.
Yes, it was a beautiful fight for boxing.
It was a beautiful fight. You know, Bud got hit with some shots.
He did. He got
hit with some single shots going out. You know, he's going out, and you know Canelo, if he has you trapped in the corner or along the ropes, it's typically 1 to 2 big shots. You know that if you've watched him.
Yep.
So you could tell Crawford, as he was going out, he knew the one shot was coming. And Several times it landed. He even got hit with a two-piece. I don't remember what round it was. Uppercut right hand that Crawford took well. So when you started seeing him absorb the shots, if you're Team Crawford, you don't want him to take that shot. But if you started seeing that, now you know that, okay. And I think that's what gave Crawford the green light to stay there a little bit longer.
He smiled about it.
He smiled about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that smile can be a lie. And sometimes that smile can mean what I think it meant for Crawford, which is, oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was.
The idea of Terence Crawford stepping into the ring with Floyd Mayweather, even in an exhibition match, has sparked intense debate within the boxing community. Critics argue that such a fight could potentially undermine Crawford's legacy. Rather than building on his historic victories like dismantling Errol Spence and outclassing Canelo Alvarez, they believe he risks being seen as chasing financial gain over meaningful competition. This perception is fueled by the fact that Mayweather's recent career has largely focused on lucrative exhibition bouts rather than legacy-defining fights. Analysts suggest that Crawford has worked too hard and accomplished too much to be viewed as someone prioritizing money over history. However, others contend that Crawford
for Terence Crawford. It's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy. This is what was being said, right? This is what people perceived. Terence Crawford was just attempting to catch.
When fans compare the careers of Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford, the conversation quickly becomes complex and layered. Mayweather's resume is stacked with victories over some of the biggest names in boxing history. However, critics often point to the timing of those wins, highlighting that Canelo Alvarez was still young and relatively inexperienced when he faced Mayweather, and that Manny Pacquiao was dealing with an injury during their long-awaited 2015 bout. Additionally, Mayweather's reluctance to grant rematches, particularly with Pacquiao, has left lingering doubts for many fans about how definitive some of those victories truly were. In contrast, Crawford's dominance has come against opponents who were widely.
Floyd Mayweather is still greater than Terence Crawford. We need to really talk about this now. A lot of you guys are putting Crawford a bit too high. If you want to say Crawford could beat Floyd, I'm more open to that conversation. But when you're lining up the careers, I'm going to say Floyd every time. While they're both 5 division, Bud has become 3-time undisputed, but he's only fought 10 world champions to Floyd's 25 world champions. You can't take away the 5 division, 3-time undisputed. In terms of accolades, yeah, he probably gets the nod over Floyd. I say their accolades are about relative, considering Floyd Mayweather won Fighter of the Decade as well. But when you get to the resumes, Pacquiao, Oscar, Canelo, Cotto, Mosley, Castillo, Marquez, Zab, Gotti, Hatton, and Corley. There's probably way more people that this guy just didn't name. And then when you get to Bud's resume, not saying it's just bad, but the only names that's really worth mentioning is going to be Spence and Canelo. It's not a knock on Bud. Bud was not able to make those fights early on in his career. But I got to tell you guys what it is. Bud's resume just doesn't line up with Floyd's. Take their top 20 wins. Bud don't even got 20 wins to really sit here and name. Floyd got a good 20-something plus. Bud probably got about 10 wins that we could really sit here and name. Floyd's still greater than Bud in my opinion.
Tony Jeff, a respected boxing analyst, has highlighted that Floyd Mayweather's greatest weapon wasn't just his exceptional defense or speed, it was his mindset. According to Jeff, Mayweather's unwavering belief that he could defeat anyone is what truly made him formidable. Even in closely matched fights, his supreme confidence in his boxing IQ always gave him a critical edge. His ability to read opponents, adapt in real time, and remain composed under pressure set him apart from fighters who relied primarily on physical attributes. Jeff notes that this psychological advantage, combined with flawless technical execution, made Mayweather appear almost unbeatable.